DJ Annie McManus, better known as Annie Mac, was born in Dublin and is well known to BBC Radio 1 listeners, where she stars. When asked recently in an interview if she believes in God, Annie replied, "I believe in something, but not the traditional look of God. I'm not religious, but I believe in a higher power." In the same interview, Annie was asked, "What does your dream weekend look like?" And she replied, "Lots of friends, sunshine, good music, laughter, and swimming in the sea." When asked her favourite song, she quoted the following lyrics from Van Morrison's ballad, "Sweet Thing." "And I will stroll the merry way and jump the hedges first. And I will drink the clear, clean water for to quench my thirst. And I shall watch the ferry boats, and they'll get high on a bluer ocean against tomorrow's sky. And I will never grow so old again, and I will walk and talk in gardens all wet with rain." There are so many aspects of this interview that intrigue me. First, it seems traditional religion has not done a good job in its efforts to describe God. Second, the image of the sea pervades in Annie's reflections about joy and music and sweetness. Sea swimming seems to have helped much of the population, or at least those lucky enough to be coast adjacent through the lockdown. Telling people about the benefits of sea swimming is the new telling people about how wonderful meditation is. We are at that point in Mark's Gospel where Mark talks and tells of miracles performed on and around the Sea of Galilee. While many people struggle with the nature miracles, such as the calming of the storm in this morning's Gospel, it is clear that this Gospel story was very significant to the early church. Jesus is present with his disciples in the boat from the beginning of the story to the end. He is never transformed in appearance, and the words he speaks, first to the wind and the waves and then to the disciples, are not self-revelatory formulas. In this sense, the story is very different to the story about Jesus walking on the water. The disciples question, as the storm is stilled, "Who can this be?" helps clarify that this gospel passage is plainly a sea rescue miracle and not a sea rescue epiphany. This gospel passage is the only miracle in which people who already follow Jesus as their master are rescued by him from mortal danger. Despite the obvious danger of the sea, the lure of the water prevails to this day. I read an advertisement in recent times with the tagline, "Come with most, take a trip to the water." The advertiser was selling choices such as bathing in seaweed, or staying in a lighthouse, or whale watching. A Londoner called Grania Lyons spent 3 months walking alone in the footsteps of Irish women connected to the landscape from previous generations all along the wild Atlantic way. Better alone than in bad company was a snippet of wisdom that she picked up from a coastal fisherman as she walked. She learned from the past that the sea, in the words of the great storyteller Peg Sayers, in whose home she would stay, was as calm as new milk. She heard how Peg called her island as shaped like a whale, sleeping on the surface of the ocean. Grania, in a newspaper article, beautifully describes, many times on the journey, I felt overwhelmed, but also fascinated by the power of the Atlantic and the beauty of the coastline. I came to understand the great respect and sometimes the great fear these women held of the sea. In exploring their paths, I found both inspiration and purpose. I took in a history that I had been lacking of the great resilience of Irish women. A recently published book called A Hut at the Edge of the Village, about the Kerry philosopher, the late John Moriarty, shares how his ambitions were modest. Running a hedge school on the edge of the Atlantic was the height of his hopes. Jesus clearly wanted to cross to the other side. He wanted to cross frontiers and to break barriers. Such journeys are always stormy. Just look at the chaos this week between two sides in the north of Ireland, or the divisions and tensions as displayed in the burning of flags in Waterford between those at ease with Pride Month and those ill at ease. Jesus is pointing us towards silence, even when chaos rages. From our respective edges, we are encouraged to enter into the storm, confident that through dialogue and meeting with each other and overcoming difficult intervals, that calm can emerge at the center of the storm. The Jesus way rescues. Calmness and resilience emerge from chaos. It is in the journey towards the other side that inspiration and purpose overcome that which pulls us down. From Galilee to the wild Atlantic way, from DJ Annie to Grania Lions, the mist can clear and we can get high on a bluer ocean against tomorrow's sky. Amen.